February 14th, 2025, President of Argentina posted a tweet not knowing that this single tweet would threaten his whole presidency. And within hours, that single tweet would spiral into one of the biggest financial scandals in history. $4.6 billion vanished. 44,000 investors lost everything. Though Javier Milei did delete the tweet after 5 hours, but the damage had already been done. The real question was, where did $4 billion go? And more importantly, who stole all this money away? See, Javier Milei had posted a simple announcement, just another private project that would, according to him, transform Argentina's economy. And it was named as Libra coin, a cryptocurrency project. But Javier didn't realize that this wasn't about Argentina anymore, and the scandal would expose a secret nexus reaching beyond South America, one that allegedly links global leaders including Donald Trump and Melania Trump. So let's investigate how Javier and his sister was involved in billion-dollar scam, and how did a 28-year-old Hayden Davis was secretly pulling the strings of not just Milei but also his sister Karina Milei. You see, this wasn't just President Milei's first memory with crypto. Back in 2021, when he was just a national deputy, he recommended a platform called CoinX. It promised incredible returns, 8% per month through automated trading algorithms. But spoiler alert, it was a Ponzi scheme. Thousands of investors lost millions. And when the Fed police conducted raids across Argentina, what was Milei's response? I only gave my opinion. But he didn't learn his lesson. In 2022, he promoted another project called Volcano Game NFT. Guess what happened to that one? The token went zero. But somehow, none of this damaged Milei's crypto enthusiasm. Now, enter Tech Forum Argentina, where our real story begins. This wasn't just any tech conference. It was a pay-to-play event where blockchain companies could buy their way into meeting President Milei himself. The organizers, Mauricio Noli, had created a system what they called consultation system, but it was really more like an access selling scheme. And at the center of this was a 28-year-old Hayden Davis and his mysterious company Kelsier Ventures. But Davis wasn't working alone. He had help from Julian Pa of KIP protocol, and more importantly, he had found a way to reach president's inner circle through his most trusted advisor, his sister Karina Milei. Now, Karina isn't just any presidential sibling. She's Milei's general secretary, his gatekeeper, and according to many, the real power behind the throne. And according to explosive text messages that would later surface, Davis was bragging about having her in his pocket. I controlled that nig, Davis wrote. I send dollars to his sister, and he signs whatever I say and does whatever I want. But the connection between Davis and the presidential family went even deeper. You see, this wasn't just about one-time deal. Investigations would later uncover that Davis had been meeting with Milei since 2024. He was introduced to them by Mauricio Novelli, a young trader who had known Milei for years. A week before the Libra launch, crypto analysts had written a report mentioning rumors of a meme coin around Milei being created, including talk of bribes. But like many others, he dismissed it as unlikely. After all, would a sitting president really risk everything for just a crypto scheme? But the evidence was building. The meeting at the presidential palace, the coordinated social media posts, the precise timing of the launch, it was all too perfect to be coincidental. And here's where Karina Milei's role became crucial. As general secretary, she controlled access to the president. Every meeting, every decision, every social media post went through her. Davis hadn't just found a way to reach the president, he had found a way to influence the entire presidential office. The text messages were just the tip of the iceberg, as we'd soon discover that Davis had been bragging about his connection with Karina Milei. She makes things happen, one insider quoted him saying. When you need something done, she makes sure it gets done. But let's take a step back because to understand how Davis got this kind of access, we need to look at his track record. Remember the Melania Trump token that suddenly appeared and disappeared, taking millions with it? That was him. The same guy was also behind several other controversial crypto launches, including one called Enron token. Yes, they really named it after one of the biggest corporate frauds in history. The plan they hatched was brilliantly simple: launch a cryptocurrency called Libra, get the president endorsement, and watch the money roll in. They even created a noble sounding mission supporting Argentina's small businesses and startups. The project would be called Viva la Libertad, Long Live Freedom. The irony would become apparent later. On Valentine's Day 2025, at exactly 7 p.m., Kelsier Ventures quietly created the Libra token. 3 minutes later, and this timing is important, president's social media accounts lit up with posts promoting it. The post even included the contract address, a specific address that would allow users to buy in that token. This wasn't just a casual endorsement, it was a coordinated launch. The response was immediate and massive. Within hours, Libra market cap exploded from nothing to $4.6 billion. People were rushing to buy in, believing they were part of something revolutionary. A cryptocurrency endorsed by a sitting president sounds familiar, like Trump coin. It seemed too good to be true. But while ordinary investors were pouring their money in, something sinister was happening behind the scenes. Davis and his team had set up a sniping operation using sophisticated bots to buy huge amounts of tokens at launch prices before anyone else could get in. They weren't just creating the token, they were positioning themselves to profit from both the pump and the dump. But nobody would have predicted what would happen next. Because in next 24 hours, this carefully constructed scheme was about to come crashing down. And when it did, it would take more than just the Milei's family reputation. Remember that $4.6 billion market cap that we talked about? Let's break down exactly what happened in those crucial hours, because the numbers tell a story that even seasoned crypto investigators found hard to believe. Within just 1 hour of President Milei's tweet, Libra's price had skyrocketed from zero to an astronomical $5.5. Trading volume hit $1.5 billion. But here's where it gets interesting. Blockchain analysis would later reveal that 70% of all the tokens were concentrated in just a handful of wallets, all connected to the project's creators. And that's where the real manipulation began. While 44,000 ordinary investors were buying in, thinking they were part of Argentina's financial revolution, a sophisticated network of trading bots were working behind the scenes. They weren't just any bots, they were what crypto insiders call snipers. And they were being operated by very people who created the token. In just minutes, the price crashed from $4.7 to $1.4. But here's the kicker: while 75% of the investors lost money, a tiny fraction, just 0.18%, made over $100,000 each. And at the center of it all, Hayden Davis claims he personally walked away with $100 million plus an additional $13 million on fees. But the real bombshell was yet to come. Remember those text messages about payments to Karina Milei? They weren't just idle posts. According to Coindesk, Davis had been telling other investors about his connection to President's sister. This wasn't just about money anymore. Under Article 256 of Argentina's Penal Code, if these payments occurred, we are looking at massive bribery, carrying a penalty of 1 to 6 years in prison. And that's just the start. Article 265 deals with public officials conducting private business. Whether or not money changed hands, President's promotion of a private token raised serious legal questions. As the scandal exploded, President Milei suddenly deleted his promotional tweet. His new message? He had no connection with the project and wasn't aware of the details, but the damage was done. Over 100 criminal complaints were filed within 48 hours. The opposition was calling for impeachment, and international law firms were preparing class action lawsuits. But this wasn't your typical crypto scam. The technical barriers to entry were significant. You needed a Solana wallet, you needed to know how to swap tokens. This wasn't targeting ordinary Argentinians. This was aimed at experienced crypto traders who should have known better. And that's where our investigation took an unexpected turn. Looking at the blockchain data, we found something fascinating. The same wallet patterns that appeared in the Libra scam had shown up before in the Millennia Trump token launch in something called the Enron token, and even in the Trump-related crypto projects. This wasn't just a one scam, it was a pattern of scam. But perhaps the most shocking revelation came from Meteora, the platform used to launch Libra. Their CEO, Ben Chao, had been working closely with Davis' team through multiple launches. When confirmed with evidence about sniping tokens, his response was telling, "This is SBF level," comparing it to infamous FTX collapse. The fallout was swift and severe. Ben Chao resigned from Meteora. The Argentinian government created a special unit for investigation tasks, and international authorities, including the FBI, were now involved. But what about the missing $100 million? Well, that's where our story takes a strange turn again.